Okay, guys. So what I'm going to talk about today is, if you're looking to become a professional trader, the dreamy trading career, where quit your 9 to 5, you're a day trader, you're making shitloads of money, as you see on the social media, most of which is generally a lie because um, people say there's a 95 to 5 win ratio in the industry, but I believe it's 99 to 1, where 99% of the people lose money and 1% of the people make money. That is why the money that is made by that 1% is so much, because 99% is giving their money to them, where they're trading dumb, where they're not being disciplined, blah, blah, blah. A lot of problems. Anyway, so what I'm going to talk about today, if you're looking to become a professional trader and you give your close attention to what I'm going to talk about today, it is going to help you tenfold with your journey in the industry. I'm going to talk about news today. The economic events that come out every now and then, right? You've got PMI, CPI, interest rates, some speeches, non-farm productivity, jobless claims, a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of news that comes out every now and then. The purpose of that news is what you need to understand. That is economic data of, to each currency for every month. Comes out every month. The specific news events happen every single month, and it's been like that for since forever. Anyway, so the purpose of these news releases is to fuel the markets, right? Because you might have come across people who tell you not to trade at the time of the news release, and to some extent they're right. Also, I agree with them because the spread widens up as the news releases, and there's slippage. You don't get the price you want. Stop losses get triggered. Manipulation happens. Blah blah blah. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happens associated with the news because there's a lot of volatility, right? A lot of people are trying to get in or get out instantly, and that causes a lot of volatility in the markets. And a lot of people blow their accounts at the time of news release too. But then, on the other hand, if the purpose of a news release is to fuel the markets, and the movements that happen with those news releases are so volatile and so big, there's a lot of money to be made. So what do I do? What do I do? This is the dilemma, right? You cannot trade the news, but then you want to trade the news also, right? So what I'm going to talk about today is going to help you with this dilemma. It's something that I've watched happen time and time again. I've been watching this happen since forever. This is one of my favorite setups to trade. In fact, maybe my most favorite setups to trade when the news releases. So the thing that you need to know about news releases is that the stars that you see here, there are two stars, right? One is not highlighted. There are three stars in total. At some news events, you'd see one highlighted star. At some of them, you'd see two. At some of them, you'd see three. So the ones that I absolutely love, I am very keen on being active with the markets when those around the time when those news events are going to happen is are the ones with three highlighted stars. Or if you're looking at some other news event website like forexfactory.com, or there are a few more. Their filters are a little different, so there you might see gray, yellow, and red colors that indicate the impact of the market, the news on the markets. So what I am more interested in, cutting the story short, is the highest impact, right? Red or three stars, the one that impacts the market really hard. And uh, I'm going to mention those news events right here so that you can make a note for yourselves. We know there are 8 currencies, right? Pound, yen. I'm sorry, don't get confused. There's pound, there's Japanese yen, there's Australian dollar, there's New Zealand dollar, there's Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, US dollar, euro. Did I say pound? Oh, I did say pound. Swiss franc, 8 currencies. And then to each that currency, every month there's going to be the interest rate release, right? So that gives you 8 events. Not all the time, but sometimes these interest rates for different currencies fall on the same day also. But most of the times they do not fall on the same day, and that event during that day is the biggest event, right? The interest rate release. So we have interest rates, and then on the first Friday of every month you have non-farm payrolls, um, jobless claims, and average hourly income. Um, but generally, all of this falls under the umbrella of non-farm payrolls because they release at the same time, and NFP has the highest impact on the market, right? So we're gonna type down NFP, and generally not all of the CPIs, but dollar CPI, US dollar CPI is always very volatile, and it has fractal nature also. So we'll come to that. How do you trade the news release? And then there's a few more. You have GDP of any currency. You have retail sales, basically the high impact news release. Okay, so once we've figured out the news events of the day, what we want to do is watch that currency as a group. What we I personally generally like to call it is correlation. Very important, very close to my heart. Okay, so the logic is that when any specific currency's interest rate or non-farm payroll comes out, or CPI comes out, or GDP comes out, there's a fair chance that that specific currency is going to move as a whole against every other currency. The direction of that specific currency that gets impacted by the news event the most is going to be the same against all the other currencies for that period of time. Okay? For example, about 46 minutes ago, we had pound interest rate. So I'm going to show you what happened with pound interest rate to pound. Okay? We're talking about pound. We're not talking about any other currency right now. And I might have missed some of the trades that I was watching. I was expecting the prices to do something, to do a little more than what they're doing right now. Anyway, what I need you to see here is how pound as a currency is moving exactly the same on every single currency chart. Okay, which one's this? This is pound Swiss franc. Yeah, Swiss franc is really strong at the moment. So anyway, let's forget about Swiss franc for a little while, and let's take a look at the rest of the pounds. Okay, pound dollar. Interest rate released up there where I'm going to zoom in a little. When you see this 15-minute candle, let's open it up a little bit. You see this 15-minute this 15-minute candle. This is where the interest rate released. The price went down, left a wick, started to pull back. Still pulling back. I'm expecting the price to come up into these areas around New York Open, or when Bailey's speaking, the ECB head Bailey speaks at. He's already spoken once, and he's going to speak at around in about 1.5 hours, right? So I am expecting the price to do a little more, maybe pull back a little more, and then do the thing that we've discussed in the previous videos about the seller coming back and blah blah blah. Anyway, what I want you to focus right now on is that the interest rate releases, price goes all the way down to there, rejects, starts to pull back and is pulling back right now. Okay, let's go to pound New Zealand. It's not exactly the same pound New Zealand, but it's doing one and the same thing. Let's zoom in. Let me just okay. Zoom in a little, and interest rate releases, price goes down, rejects, and it's pulling back now, right? Let's go to pound yen. It's exactly the same as pound dollar. There is no difference whatsoever. Interest rate, I suck at, zooming in and out. Okay. Interest rate releases, price goes all the way down to there, rejects, is pulling back, still pulling back right now, expecting the price to come up into these areas and do the thing that we've discussed and then go down. Forget about pound Swiss franc, talk about pound cat, exactly the same as pound dollar and pound yen. Interest rate releases, price goes all the way down to there, rejects, is pulling back right now. Come up into here, could sell. Not 100%, but it could sell. Okay, pound Aussie, exactly the same. Interest rate releases, price goes all the way down there, is pulling back right now. Comes up into hereabouts, could probably sell. Euro pound, interest rate releases, price goes all the way up to there because euro is on the left side. This is an inverted chart. That is why this is going up instead of all the other currencies that you saw. The price was going down, but this euro is on the left, pound is on the right. On the rest of them, pound is on the left. So as we've said, the chart is depicting the price of either one of these currencies. And at this time, we're watching pound. So price starts to go higher, goes all the way up to there, rejects, is in the process of pulling back right now. Right? Let that sink in a little. When a major news release happens, the price tends of that specific currency tends to do exactly the same thing as against every other currency, right? Every chart of, let's say, pound is doing the exact same thing against every other currency. Okay. Once you've figured that out, once you've gone through all of that, what comes next is, how do I trade this, right? You've been babbling about it for about 13 minutes now, and you've spoken a lot about news releases and all, but you haven't yet told us how to trade this. So here's what I'm going to show you. This is a trade that I took yesterday. A trade that I took yesterday. Euro Aussie buy. Still in this trade, still running. I'm okay, so I removed profits up here. Remove profits up here, then I remove profits up here, and now I'm going to remove some profits up here, and then I'm going to let some of it still run. We'll talk about how you do this in the upcoming videos or our live Zoom sessions anyway. Coming back to the point, how do you trade the news? Okay. The first thing you need to understand is that you won't always be able to trade the news. This is where the discipline comes in. You want to wait for what you've seen happen over and over again, what I am going to show you right now. You want to see that happen for you to be in a trade, right? Because as we just went through the pounds, you'd realize that it's going to be, it is a little different than how it's with the Aussies. So this movement that you see of the buy that happened down there, went all the way up to there, happened with Aussie interest rate. Funny thing, right? You see the timestamp down there says 9:27 and then 9:30 yesterday. Oh no, day before. Was it day before? No, yeah, it was day before. It was day before. Okay, day before yesterday. That was Tuesday. Tuesday, 9:30. RBA interest rate decision. It does not matter what the news comes out as, because I personally do not have an economic background, and you don't need it to be a trader. It does not matter what this means. What matters is that what it's showing you on the charts. So I'm going to take you to 60 minutes and I'm going to show you something. So, higher high, higher lows, prices pulling back, you start marking your miniature territory, right? You're marking your miniature territories, and you see here, this is a very nice area of supply, a beautiful supply area. The price should 100% sell from there. What a beautiful supply area. Okay. But, as we've done our homework, we know that the price is overall in an uptrend coming back from, a very high time frame. So we're not looking to sell, we're looking to buy, right? But anyway, news releases takes the price higher with a lot of power. A lot of power goes through this. The last bit of sell that happened in that downtrend where you're marking your miniature territories. Let me remove these brushes so that you can see better. Go to 15 minutes. Where you're marking your miniature territories while the price is making lower highs and lower lows. This is the last bit of selling that happened. The price should have held here to go down. Instead, what happens? News releases, goes through this, closes above, right? Way above. Okay. When there's a major news release, when there's a high impact news coming out, and you see a new territory, a new structure being formed, a breakout, if you may, what you want to do then is you want to go down to a lower time frame, and you want to start to read the pullbacks. You want to start to read the pullbacks on a very low time frame. But keep that in mind that you gotta have a new territory with the news release. Very important. Okay? Once you have that, I personally, because I told you that, we're going to go further down time frames. What I personally do is I am down in 15 seconds and I am looking for an introduction of sellers into this market, into this specific market on 15 seconds. Okay? So what's happening here is that looking at that beautiful supply zone that we have seen on the left side, people are not looking to buy this at all. People are not looking to buy this at all. They're looking to sell it because, it visually looks so beautiful for that supply that it's not possible for it to go for a buy. It should sell, right? But what happens as news releases is that when the people are getting in here, let's see what this area is. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be this. See, take a look at this. This is a beautiful resistance, right? And what is happening in that resistance as you go lower on time frames? You see that someone tried to sell in there, but immediately got wrong-footed. Closed above, but that visual of this is a beautiful supply is still there, right? People are watching it. It's a downtrend. What this is a fake out, and during this thought of maybe this is a fake out, what I am looking for is for people to turn into the opposite side of the markets. It's as simple as that. It sounds very simple, but it needs a lot of practice. So what I'm giving out to you today is you would not have heard any of the mentors talk about it ever. You'd not have seen anyone talk about this at all. So what I'm looking for is, I personally go down in 15 seconds, and I am looking for the introduction of sellers into the market in this new buyer's market that turn into a buyer's market with the interest rate release, a major news release, right? So what happens is, news releases, price buys from up here to here, it comes down. People are looking to get in on the sells because there is a very beautiful visual to the left side. People get in on the sells don't work, the buy happens, pulls back, buys again, and keeps putting in higher highs and higher lows. People are getting in on the sells every step of the way. And, hitting stop losses, hitting stop losses, hitting stop losses. And then this happens. As this happens, the memory of, oh, my seller is back. This is a sell now. When this happens, people start to get in on the sell side again, getting really happy. And then in this, as I explained in the previous video also, if you start to mark your miniature territories, if you treat this as a 3 minutes 15 seconds trade, where your 3 minutes is your big boy, your bigger time frame, and it has pulled back once, it has gone higher, and it's starting to pull back again, right? That's your bias. Now you start to mark your lower breaches, comes right back up. First sign of my buyer that came with the interest rate, time and time again, I'm putting emphasis on this, that came with the interest rate is probably back. Holds for a little while, the seller tries to sell, cannot sell, buyer buys again, goes higher high. As if this becomes your threshold of, if this is the buyer, let me make it a little bigger again. If this is the buyer that's coming back here, and then this seller could not sell, ranged for a little while on this time frame, this is a range, but made a higher high. The next time price comes back into this area, if this buy is true, this buyer is going to buy again. The price is not going to go below this. And then you see how big that buy was. Anyway, long video, I understand. We'll talk about this more in the next video. We'll talk about this in a couple videos, okay? So, because I want you, I know it's difficult, and I want you guys to let this sink in, okay? So we'll talk about the same thing in the next video. But do practice in your own time of what we've talked about here today. Go back testing. Look at the dates of when the major news releases happen. Go back to that time. See what's happening on the charts, and blah, blah, blah. All right? Take care, guys.